He never expected anyone to notice him. Not after the divorce. Not after becoming a single dad struggling to balance life and loneliness. But the night his 30-year-old neighbor stepped closer, looked him dead in the eyes and softly said, "If you want to look, just ask." He froze. He didn't know she wasn't teasing him. He didn't know she had been waiting for him. And he definitely didn't know that what happened next would change both their lives and his daughter's forever. Daniel had lived in the quiet apartment complex for 6 months, but it already felt like 6 years. Being a single dad wasn't the part that exhausted him. It was being alone. Cooking, school runs, late-night fevers, red reminders, the endless rotation of responsibilities. Everything lived on his shoulders. His daughter Emma was his world. She was 7, bright, gentle, and too wise for her age. Divorce had forced her to grow up faster, and Daniel hated that. Every night he tucked her in, looked at her small sleeping hands and silently promised to be better, work harder, stay strong. But some nights the silence in the apartment felt too heavy, too empty. Their neighbor across the hall, Maya, was an unexpected presence. 30 years old, calm, confident. The kind of person whose footsteps were soft, but whose presence filled the space without effort. She worked from home, always smelled faintly of jasmine, and often left her door slightly open to let her cat wander in the hallway. Daniel noticed her. Of course he did. Anyone would. But he never let his eyes linger long. He wasn't that guy. Not anymore. One evening, after a long day of holding everything together with emotional duct tape, Daniel stepped outside to take out the trash. He looked exhausted, shirt wrinkled, hair messy, stress hanging off him like a shadow. That's when it happened. He saw Maya standing near her door, reaching up to tape a note for a package. She wore a casual gray sweater, her hair tied back loosely, her focus gentle and unguarded. Daniel tried not to stare. Just 1 second, maybe 2. He admired how peaceful she looked, something he hadn't felt in years. But then she turned. Their eyes met. He panicked, looked away instantly, pretending to tie his shoe even though it didn't need tying. Maya smiled softly and stepped closer. "Daniel." He froze at the sound of his name. He had never said it before. "You don't have to hide," she said gently. And then she added the sentence that made his heart stop. "If you want to look, just ask." He blinked, confused, flustered, unsure if he heard her right. But Maya wasn't flirting. She wasn't mocking him. She wasn't playing games. She had seen the exhaustion behind his eyes. The loneliness he thought he was hiding. The man holding his world together with trembling hands. He saw him, really saw him, maybe for the first time ever. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know how to respond. All he managed was a quiet, shaky breath as the world around him went still. Maya whispered, "I'm not someone you have to be scared of." And for the first time in a very long time, Daniel felt seen. The next morning, Daniel expected things to be awkward. How could they not be? But when he opened his door to take Emma to school, Maya was already in the hallway feeding her cat. She smiled. "Come on, normal," as if nothing unusual had happened. "Morning," she said warmly. Daniel nodded back, still unsure how to act around her. Emma tugged his hand. "That's Luna's mom," she whispered loudly, pointing at the cat. Maya laughed softly. "I guess that makes me a parent too." Emma instantly liked her. Children always sense kind people quickly. Over the next few days, Maya found small ways to connect with Daniel without overwhelming him. Sometimes she left homemade muffins outside his door. Sometimes she offered to help carry groceries. Sometimes she simply said, "Rough day?" when she saw him dragging himself home after work. Daniel slowly noticed things. Maya listened. Maya cared. Maya wasn't judging him. She was understanding him. One rainy evening, Emma got sick. Daniel panicked. The fever came fast and his car wouldn't start. He stood in the hallway holding his trembling daughter, trying to figure out what to do. Then Maya opened her door. "Daniel, what happened?" He explained, his voice breaking from stress and fear. Without hesitating, Maya grabbed her coat. "Come on, I'll drive you to the clinic." It wasn't just the help. It was the way she held Emma's hand in the back seat, comforting her, whispering small jokes to distract her from the fever. Daniel saw something he didn't expect. Maya wasn't just compassionate. She was steady, reliable, present. Later, outside the clinic, when Emma finally stabilized, Daniel sat on a bench, exhausted beyond words. Maya sat beside him. "You don't have to do everything alone," she said quietly. Daniel swallowed hard. I'm used to it. You shouldn't be, she replied. Silence settled, but a warm, safe silence. Maya looked at him with soft eyes. Not pity, not attraction. Something deeper, something patient. You know that night, she said, when I told you to just ask. I wasn't talking about looking. Daniel turned to her, confused. I meant, if you want support, help, a friend, anything, just ask. The air left Daniel's lungs. No one had told him that in years. No one had stood beside him without expecting something in return. No one had offered him a safe place to land. He didn't say anything, but his eyes glistened. Maya placed a gentle hand on his arm. Daniel, you're allowed to lean on someone too. For the first time he believed it. And for the first time he realized maybe Maya wasn't just a neighbor. Maybe she was the person who would help him rebuild the parts of himself he had forgotten.